It is week number 11 of the high school football season, and tonight, the Dragons of Akron East made their way up north to Titletown to take on the two-time defending state champions, your Chardon Hilltoppers, in round number 1 of the Division III Region 9 Ohio High School Athletic Association High School Football Playoffs. How you doing, everyone? Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you as we get you set for this one. And Ryan, tonight, it's a case of deja vu for both teams.
I was saying, this is fun. You get a rematch of the playoff matchup from week 1 a year ago, and we're back to where we were with the Dragons coming up here to take on the Hilltoppers. Should be a fun night. Last year, we saw the Dragons come out with a lot of energy, but then just the numbers and the size of the Hilltoppers overwhelmed them. I expect something similar tonight. Dragons will come out strong, but definitely you just sit the two rosters next to each other. There's just a number of players disadvantage to begin with for the Dragons tonight.
Well, you look at the Dragons, and they have arguably the best running back in Division III Region 9 in Zaire Stevens. The young man, a sophomore, was ranked as one of the top 25 sophomores in Northeast Ohio by the PD before the season started. And at this point in time, he's already up to over 2,000 career rushing yards, and he is someone that the Hilltoppers will have to key in to shut down tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for that defensive line. Also for those linebackers, make sure you've got your gaps covered. Don't leave anything open. Well, the quest for a third straight state title continues tonight as round 1 of the playoffs are just moments away. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will have the Pride of Chardon, the Hilltopper Marching Band up for you with pregame festivities next here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2022 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field tonight by Field Commander Evan Kuhl. The Hilltopper Marching Band would like to thank all of our band parents for their endless support. From chaperoning, purchasing instruments, donating, and volunteering, we couldn't do it without you. All right, Topper fans, put your hands together for the Chardon High School Fight Song. Would you now please stand if you are able, and gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor our country with the national anthem and remain standing for the Chardon High School alma mater. right, Topper fans, put your hands together and shout "Hey" as the band performs the Hey song.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Here come your Chardon Hilltoppers! Welcome, everyone. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. And we are just minutes away here from kickoff tonight of the 2022 playoffs. Ryan, that crisp playoff air starting to set upon us here at Chardon Memorial. Temperature-wise, it is in the mid-40s, expected to get down into the high 30s tonight. It is a perfect night for playoff football. Yeah, this is what you want when you get that football, playoff football weather. You don't want those 70-degree days in November. No, these are the nights you want. Nice, crisp air, ready to go, and it's an exciting night as well. You can feel the energy in this place as the team entered the field. Everyone's ready to go on another Hilltopper playoff run. Well, indeed they are. The quest for 3 continues. Hilltoppers during the regular season finished with a record of 8-1 overall. And you look at some of those marquee victories that they had this year. Wins over Olmsted Falls 14-7. What a gutsy performance by the defense and by Alex Henry. That game against First Baptist in Week 3, a 31-24 overtime thriller, potentially the greatest game ever played here at Chardon Memorial. The win against Mayfield, the win against Kenston, to rebound after that loss against Riverside. They've played some good competition this year.
Yeah, they've had some great competition on that schedule, and they got, last week 35-0 victory over North. That's a nice win to make sure you're playoff ready and ready to go. Everything's firing on all cylinders. And, you take a look. Willoughby South, a playoff team that they beat. Mayfield, a playoff team they beat. So it's been a tough schedule once again for the Hilltoppers. It always is, but they come out 9-1, and they're ready to go. Number 1 again in Division III, Region 9 by points.
They get the number 16 seed, Akron East, and East finished the year 6-4 overall. Now, they only beat one team with a winning record, and that was North Royalton on September 16th, a 21-11 victory.
And North Royalton is a playoff team, so that's a victory over a playoff team for these Dragons. So they got one of those in the regular season. But again, when it comes to those victories against a team that was able to put together a 7 or 8 win season, the Dragons don't have that on their resume this year.
No, when you look at this, Massillon Jackson and probably the biggest team or the best team that they played, and that was in week 1. It was a 33-27 setback for them. It's safe to say that they are not as road-tested as the Hilltopper squad is, but that's the thing about playoff football. Anything now can happen at this point.
Absolutely. That's why you play the games.
Hilltoppers won the coin toss. They elected to kick. Evans sends it high in the air. Going to be fielded, going to be muffed around the 5, picked up, brought out to the 10. Reversing course, looking for a block. Trying now to cut the corner, but being pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Boy, the Dragons going to be starting in some not-so-good field position. That was Monte Blair, the return man.
Yeah, that's not the way you draw it up on the road in the playoffs when you're at number 16, is to start out, dropping the kick. You pick it up, but you can't even get past. At some point in time, you need to dive forward and, maybe get out to the 15, get something. But trying to make a play, you never fault a kid for trying to make a play. He was down there trying to make a play. It just didn't work out.
Out comes the Dragon offense, led by senior quarterback Justin Cox, 6'2", 195. The man that we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, Zaire Stevens, a sophomore. He's number 7, the running back. 5'10", 180. We'll get you the rest of their starters in just a minute here. Cox from the gun. Going to give it to Stevens. Stevens going right side and stopped immediately by the Hilltopper defense. His fullback tonight, Antonio Rosser, a sophomore, 6'0", 190. The wide receivers, Ibrahim Kamara, the junior, 6'3", 190. Luther Darsaw, a junior, 6'2", 185. And Tristan Thomas, a senior, 5'7", 170. Their offensive line from left to right, Victor Barnes, a senior, 6'1", 270. Antonio Bascom, a senior, 6'3", 280. Cochise Griffin, the junior, 5'10", 250. Nico Hope, the junior, 6'0", 300. And the right tackle, Tavian Ellis, the junior, 6'0", 255. It'll be 2nd and 11 from the 9. They'll fake it to Zaire Stevens in the pass left side. Incomplete, picked up, but no score.
Looking for Thomas. Threw that ball a little too hard, a little too high there, and Thomas couldn't bring it in.
Toppers tonight going with the usual crew up front. Alex Kisley, the senior, 6'3", 230. Aiden Smith, the senior, 6'0", 217. Cooper Felger, a senior, 6'0", 240. And Austin Lazinski, the junior, 6'3", 211. Linebackers tonight, Heath Fetchick, the captain of this defense, a senior, 6'1", 204. Mario Tolo, the junior, 6'1", 203. And Austin Green, the junior, 6'0", 185. Get to the secondary in just a second here, or actually maybe the next drive, depending on this play. It's 3rd and 11. Cox from the gun, sends a man in motion, wave it off.
You'll have time to give him the secondary because there's a false start. Illegal procedure, I should say, is what they call it here.
Now the guys in the secondary, the safeties, Trey Liebhart, the senior, 6'1", 180, and Leo Columbia, the junior, 6'4", 194. Your cornerbacks, A.J. Bruce, the junior, 5'11", 180, and Caleb Hewitt, the sophomore, 5'10", 160.
So not the way you draw it up if you're the Dragons. You muff the kick, you end up inside the 10, and you've gone backwards so far on your first drive.
Cox from the end zone, going to play it safe, hand it off. Stevens makes a cut left side, 10, up near the 15, spun around and brought down shy of the first down on that left side of the field.
Nice little counter there as he handed it off late. The quarterback acted like he was rolling out one way, handed it off to the running back to counter the other direction. There was a lot of room, but not enough room, and the Hilltoppers able to get there to make the stop.
Kamara out to punt the football. Low snap. High in the air, and the Toppers will attempt to get away from that football and be down inside the 40.
I think a Topper got a hand on that ball. I think a Topper managed to get a hand on that.
It'll be good starting field position right now for the Hilltoppers. And
we didn't even get to talk about it. One of the keys was going to be to survive. You know, last year East started out strong, survived their opening push, and get to the later part of the game, but that's a good start by the defense here.
Well, during the pregame, you saw the difference in both teams. Chardon, nothing but business, very focused, and a little bit of, I don't want to say tomfoolery, but there's a little bit of, well, official's going to come in and call an illegal procedure against the Toppers, back them up 5 yards there. But the Dragons much looser. Some of them were even dancing to the band as the band was coming into the stadium. Toppers offense, of course, led by the senior QB, Alex Henry, 6'3", 190. We will see a plethora of running backs tonight. Fullback will be Zach Fayes, senior, 5'11", 203. You're going to get some A.J. Bruce, the junior, 5'11", 174. Man going in motion. They will wave that one off as well.
We had encroachment, yeah. The Dragons started moving when the jet sweep went in motion. The ball hadn't been snapped yet, so Hilltoppers going to get the 5 yards on that illegal procedure back and get back to first down and 10.
Daniel Pettyjohn, the senior, 5'10", 202. Heath Fetchick, the senior, 6'1", 204. Drago Vuyaclia, the junior, 5'10", 175. And Caleb Hewitt, the sophomore, 5'10", 160. There'll be a jet to Bruce, left side. Bruce at the 30 and knocked out of bounds near the 25. Good for the first down.
Yeah, good work out there, too. Fetchick throws a block in front of that one to allow Bruce to get enough for the first down. Good job downfield by Heath Fetchick blocking, and Hilltoppers one play, and they pick up their first down of the night.
From the 25, back to Bruce right side, and picks up maybe a yard on that run. Offensive line for the Hilltoppers tonight, from left to right. Andrew Baggett, the freshman, 6'3", 240. Treadell Graves, the sophomore, 6'2", 220. Dylan Jenkins, the senior, 6'3", 270. Mark Hall, the sophomore, 6'3", 245. And Logan Bryant, the junior, 6'0", 255. Tight end is Charlie Brock, the junior, 6'0", 200. And there's multiple tight ends that will be getting some time here, including Derek Galanak, the junior, 5'10", 160. Toppers will run it right side this time. It's Bruce. Nice cut. Bruce trying to get to the outside. Bruce making his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Toppers. He sliced it, he diced it, and he scored.
Well, this is how the Hilltoppers play. You get a good play on special teams to pin a team deep. Then you get the defense to force a 3 and out. You get your offense out there. You get in the hand of a playmaker, and you mix up the play call. A.J. Bruce to the left, A.J. Bruce in the middle, A.J. Bruce to the right. And on the third play, the one to the right, he's into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Hilltoppers have the early lead.
Joseph Evans set to attempt the extra point.
Evans out to attempt the PAT. It is down. And it is good. So 9:20 to play here in the first quarter. The Hilltoppers strike first and lead 7-0.
Well, each week our playoff cable telecast will be underwritten by the Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club supporters. The game will be replayed that weekend. It also will be live streamed by the Chardon Athletic Department for a one-time fee of $10. Some or all of those proceeds from streaming revenue will go to the athletic department. You can find the live stream subscription link at www.geaugatv.org. It's a good start, Matt.
You can't ask for anything better if you're a Hilltopper. Up 7-0. And the thing is, when you look at this Dragon offense, while they don't do the wing tee, they are built around the run game. And if they get down 3 scores in this one, it could be very difficult for them to come back tonight.
Yeah, especially against this defense. The other key is you're down 3 scores against this defense. And, yeah, different look in the run game. We've seen a couple teams run like this year. They run that spread offense. They don't try to put a lot of blocking in front of the run. They try to open up large gaps in the defense to give their running back, who's a great athlete, room to operate. So they definitely don't like to focus a whole lot on the line of scrimmage there. Unlike what you do in the wing tee, where you put a bunch of runners in front of the run game to block and say, let's go.
Thomas and Blair back deep to receive. Evans, who is the News Herald Player of the Week for Week 10, will send a strong kick into and then out of the end zone for the touchback.
Good for Evans. He's had a great season this year.
Well, wave that off. Flag flying. They'll have to re-kick. Offsides.
Yeah. But, yeah, great for Evans picking up that Player of the Week. He's had a great season. Definitely earned it.
He has been a key component this season, and he made some big kicks against First Baptist.
Yeah, and those were good kicks for him to get because, as we've seen the past couple of years, the time comes when you get to November where you need someone who can make big kicks.
Of course, if you remember in that game against First Baptist, he hit that 48-yarder. This is a line drive kick that's going to be headed to, will it go? Looks like it got into the corner of the end zone. That's out of my view, unfortunately. But it is a touchback.
So the kick goes for a touchback, and you keep it on the ground, keep it away from the speed of the Dragons, and bring them out here to the 20 at 1st and 10. Let's see if it's really difficult where you go out for your first drive of the game and you're already in the shadow of your own end zone. Let's see how this Dragon offense looks now with a little bit more room to operate.
Stevens, just in case you're wondering, enters this game 1,358 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns on the season. Again, already 2,000 yards overall in his career. He ran for just over 800 last year. Cox will hand it off, and that goes to Stevens. Lowers his shoulders, pushes ahead, and the Division I recruit picks up about 4 yards on that run.
Yeah, it's going to be a good job. Talking to Coach Hewitt before the game, it's about contain. You don't know if you can shut a guy like Stevens down, but contain him. Keep him to those 3 or 4 yard gains. Don't let him get into the open field with room to run.
You look at the Hilltoppers' schedule, and it has prepared them well for this game. They had a Division I recruit when they played against First Baptist. They had a very athletic team against Camden from New Jersey in Week 2 down at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Cox, again, pistol formation, going to hand it off. Stevens trying to plow ahead. No gain on that run.
That's what you need to see from the Hilltoppers. Strong at the point of attack. Bottle up that line of scrimmage. Don't let Stevens operate between the tackles. Try to make their offense more one-dimensional by taking the middle of the field away from them. The Hilltoppers are doing it so far.
Continuing with the great running backs that they faced this year, Sean Patrick from Kenston certainly was a very good running back as well. Injury on the field. With that, we're going to take a timeout here from Chardon Memorial. It's the Hilltoppers 7, East nothing with 8:10 here in the first. was Cooper Felger, who was down for the Hilltoppers, and Felger needed a little bit of assistance, but able to, for the most part, walk off the field under his own power. Maddox Yancibello will enter the game in his absence. East looking to go through the air, a lot of pressure. The Hilltoppers bring Cox down. Was Caleb Schutzman who got was in on that sack.
And Schutzman's the one who got to him. Coming from the other side of that play, it was Lazinski providing the pressure. He went unblocked. Cox saw him, was trying to back away, had no chance to see the play coming from the other side, and eventually they're able to get the big sack and another 3 and out for the Dragons. 2 3 and outs to start this game, and Hilltoppers looking at another short field here offensively.
So Kamara will punt. Now, last time that punt was not a good snap. This time it is. He gets the punt off. Will Francis going to race up and make the catch at his 48, going straight ahead to the 45. And that is where the Hilltoppers will take over, right around there. Now, Francis, last week, first time he had been returning punts in a number of weeks following an injury, struggled a bit in that North game, but solid catch there.
Yeah, good work there, and he's able to run ahead, pick up 7 yards. And again, the Hilltoppers start a drive in Dragon territory. So for Chardon, 2 drives, both times starting field position is inside Dragon territory.
Henry has the team come set. Sends Pettyjohn in motion and more flags.
That's going to be a legal procedure. It's going to go against the Hilltoppers. A little bit of movement on the left side there.
Yeah, mistakes that you cannot make this time of the year.
It's 2 illegal procedure, 3 because they had 1 on the kickoff too. 3 illegal procedure penalties already against the Hilltoppers tonight. The last one was erased when the Dragons immediately went off sides.
First and 15 from the 49. Henry looking to throw the ball. Going to go over the middle and well behind Liebhart, his intended target.
Yeah, looking to get the ball there to Trey, and just couldn't quite get there. Had some pressure coming his way. Had to get rid of that football in a hurry. Puts the Hilltoppers at 2nd down and 15 now.
Trey, 3rd on the team in receptions with 6. He's caught 6 passes for 80 yards and 1 score.
It's a good weapon on the offensive end, and of course, as we've talked about at length this year, one of the top quarterbacks in Division III.
Just a ball hawk defensively. Henry going to keep it himself this time, trying to run right side. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, fighting for more out near the 43-yard line. Will make it a very interesting spot.
Like that move there by Alex Henry, as he saw a little bit of an opening to his right and made a little juke and got in that hole and was able to pick up 8 yards. So at least you set up about a 3rd down and 8. It's a manageable 3rd down situation here.
Now let's see what the Toppers decide to do. They're going to send 2 receivers out to the left. And Bruce going in motion now near side. And it's going to be Henry keeping it himself left side. Henry up near the 40. Excuse me, up near the 35-yard line, beg your pardon. He'll be about a yard, maybe yard and a half shy, bringing up 4th down.
Yeah, it's 4 down territory, so you're going to go for it. Like that play call there by the Hilltoppers, Dragons did a nice job not to bite on it. You bring Bruce all the way over. You show everyone, hey, we're going to run a screen for Bruce. And the hope is you get enough of the defense going to the left. You open up some nice space for Henry, and you did. He picks up about 6 yards, and it's a short 4th down now.
The give, left side, it's Bruce, picks up the 1st down and more. Bruce into the end zone, touchdown Toppers from 37 yards out.
Well, Bruce got a great block in front of him. Didn't quite get a catch on that, but it was along the sideline. Someone gets down there and threw a block for Bruce, and Bruce able to bring it the rest of the way in for the touchdown, and 2 touchdown runs for A.J. Bruce, and the Hilltoppers are at 13-0. And this is how you win in the playoffs. You find a way to put the ball in the hands of your best athletes on the offensive side. That's A.J. Bruce is one of those guys, and he's got 2 touchdown runs already.
Will Francis the hold.
Evans out to attempt the PAT. Will Francis is the holder. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is good with 5:31 to go here in the first. Toppers now up by 2 scores, 14-0.
Hey, remember, not only can you get GTV on Roku and Apple TV, you can get it on your cell phone as well. You could get it on an iPhone or an Android. All you have to do is look for the Cablecast app in the store, and you'll have GTV on your phone. So get in that app store and look for the GTV app.
Well, the Hilltoppers, it has been a very good start to this game, to this playoff game here. And you have to think, Ryan, that it's just continuing the momentum that the other Chardon teams have helped to build up at this point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. You just keep that going. You feel good, and you get off to a good start now. And early 14-0 lead for the Hilltoppers. .75 total yards for Chardon, 8 so far for the Dragons.
And Chardon has not started on their side of the field. It's been on the Dragon side. Ball eventually picked up by Blair. Looking left side. Blair fumbles the football. It's on the ground. Toppers pick it up. The Hilltoppers picked up the loose football, and they will have the ball back in prime field position. It was Braden Morona who scooped it up.
Well, as you know, Matt, as you always say, we say it every week, you cannot make mistakes against the Hilltoppers and expect to win a football game. Well, the Dragons have made a number of mistakes in the early going in this one, and not even 7 minutes in, they're already down 2 scores. Chardon starting their 3rd offensive drive. All 3 have started in Dragon territory. This is their best starting field position yet at the Dragon 25.
Well, it does not bode well for East at this point in time, but the Hilltoppers will take it, especially if they can get a running clock the entire 3rd quarter. A lot has to happen, though, between then and now, including some more scores and some staunch defense. Henry faking the handoff, looking to throw. Henry going to go to the right side. It is incomplete. Was looking for Caleb Hewitt, and good coverage by the Dragons. Number 1, Daryl Debo Mitchell, and number 2 was Tristan Thomas.
Yeah, they do a good job there of really blocking out Hewitt. Henry does a nice job of throwing the ball to a place where only Hewitt could catch it. But with the pressure there and everything else, that was a really hard catch, so it falls incomplete.
Second and 10 from the 25. Toppers wearing their all-black uniforms, red numbers trimmed in white, of course, with the familiar red helmet. Henry going to take it up the middle this time, and Henry will gain a few yards up to about the 27.
Yeah, Antonio Rosser gets it on the stop, the sophomore linebacker. So here are the Hilltoppers again at 3rd down and about 8.
So for the Hilltoppers, wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar where they're just looking to get half, maybe a little bit more. Caleb Hewitt goes in motion, gets the ball right side. Hewitt looking to turn the corner, 20, and Hewitt knocked out of bounds, shy of the 1st down marker.
Fetchick was ahead of him throwing blocks and able to pick up about 6, so you're going to be at 4th down and 2 again. And yeah, there's Alex Henry walking back out there, so the offense is staying on the field.
Well, I don't think any doubt about it, considering what they did the last time. Ball is on the 18. 4th and 2. Chardon may not get this one.
Yeah, they needed.
It was Fetchik who was the ball carrier.
They needed about 2.5. I'm not sure.
Check that. It was Henry the ball carrier.
We'll wait and see. We have a really bad angle on this to that side of the field to see where they're spotting the ball.
I don't think it's a good spot. He has to get on the other side of the 14.
Yeah, from here it
looks short.
Doesn't look
from my
like
view.
quite. They might have to bring out.
Officials will say first down.
And I see right now Coach Hayes asking for an explanation because he obviously thinks the Hilltoppers got a generous spot.
You know, it's very interesting this year, and I don't know why, Ryan, but it seems that there have been very few instances where the officials are bringing out the chains to measure compared to years past.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like they're more just kind of going like, we can eye it up from here. That's a first down. Let's go. Not sure. Again, is that a directive to them? Is that just something we're seeing more? That's another illegal procedure.
Boy, it's something that they're going to have to figure out. Should there be a Week 12?
Well, the officials are discussing it, so they might be considering an encroachment. They're not. Yeah, there's. Yep.
That's an illegal procedure penalty on the Hilltoppers.
Some grumbling here in the stands, Matt, but I thought from up here I saw it.
Now, your eyes were very keen.
First down and 15 for the Hilltoppers.
We'll make it first down and 15 for Chardon. Ball on the 20. Henry spun around.
Henry on the keeper.
Little gain.
It's Kamara in on the stop. Maybe a half a yard there for Henry, so Dragons starting to lock down a little bit more between the tackles. Hilltoppers had some success there early. The Dragons locking things down a bit more.
Well, for East, this is the second time that they will have seen the Hilltopper wing tee in the last 2 years. So for some of these guys, maybe it's starting to come back to them, the familiarity of that deception. Of course, what is it? You're number 42 of the wing tee overall here in Topper Town. Looking to go left side 20, bit of a stutter step, and officials will blow it dead. Forward progress. It was WeWereAthletes, the ball carrier.
WeWereAthletes, the ball carrier.
Hilltoppers didn't get a lot of blocking out on the edge there, Matt. Not a whole lot of space for WeWereAthletes to go to. And facing third down and really long now.
Now, Drago was fortunate, too, because that football was ready to pop out when they called the forward progress. 3rd and 9. Henry looking to throw the football. Going to go to Fetchik. Wide open, but he overthrows Fetchik. And now a late flag. Unnecessary hit. Boy, Tristan Thomas. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, there was no reason for Thomas to do that. That drive just ended. Hilltoppers were probably going to bring Joseph Evans out. A moral victory for this Dragon defense to build on after a tough start to the game. And Thomas, just a completely unnecessary shove there. That ball was well over Fetchik's head. There's no way he was going to catch it.
No, but he really would have loved to catch that one. You look at Heath Fetchik, and he has done it all this year. He's caught the football. He's rushed the football. Of course, the stalwart on defense. Another injury timeout here for Chardon. We'll pause and step away here in the first. Welcome back, folks, to Chardon Memorial. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. And since the penalty was a dead ball personal foul and occurred after the play, it's a 4th and 5. Hilltoppers electing right now to send out Evans for the field goal. Going to be set up near the right side hash mark. Bit of a high snap. Puts his foot into it. The kick is up. And it is good. So from 25 yards out, Evans makes it 17-0.
Yeah, ideally you'd really like to kind of put your foot on the gas and get that third first quarter touchdown, but you get a chance to get Evans out there kicking a field goal here in the playoffs, and he's true from 25 there, and you still have a 3-score advantage early in this one, up 17-0.
Well, the other thing is now 2 more scores and you hit that magic 30. But that's what Chardon at this point just wants to do, Ryan. Just continue to put points on the board and continue to play just knockout physical defense.
Yeah, you get this, you now get home field 2 weeks in the playoffs. You want to take advantage of your opportunities with that home field. You want to get out, play strong at home, get a big lead, and get your starters an opportunity to rest for a second half so they're feeling fresh when you get to later in November when there are no more running clocks and every game is a dogfight. You want to be fresh for that. So the goal in these early games, especially when you're one of these teams that has these home field advantages in the first 2 weeks, is try to get yourself to a running clock as quickly as possible into that second half and get your starters some chance to rest.
Evans and company out to kick the ball off and start this one up again. Powerful kick. And it will be fielded near side at the 2. Taking it across the 20, up near the 40. One man to beat. Frankly, he is into the end zone. A 98-yard kickoff return by Tristan Thomas.
And the Dragons are right back into this game. So that's what we talked about. That holding to that field goal is a moral victory for the Dragon defense, but it's something you could build on. And now you come back, you get the big kick return by Tristan Thomas. We knew we were going to see this. We saw this last year, Matt, in the early goings of that game 1 year ago when these two teams met. The Dragons had an early push. So here comes their early push. And if you're the Hilltoppers, you just got to survive that early push so you can take control of this game.
Kamara will kick the PAT. Thomas, who just ran basically the length of the field, will do the holding. Kick is down, it is underway, and it is good. 1:51 to play here in the first. And East trims the lead down to 10 for Chardon. It's the Hilltoppers 17 and the Dragons 7.
Well, hey, how about this? Congratulations, Topper Volleyball, Division I District Champions, on to the Regional in Hudson next week. We'll be playing Massillon-Jackson November 3rd at 7:30. So that should be a fun one again as the Toppers successfully defend their district championship in volleyball. Also, both Chardon cross-country teams are at the regionals at Boardman High School this weekend. So good luck to them. And back 15, 16 years ago when I was on cross country, regionals were at Boardman. It's good to see they're still there. That's what, yeah, it's hard to believe when you look at me now, right? Good to see the regionals are still at Boardman. There's a reason I quit after sophomore year, Matt. It was a little more running than I was interested in.
Ryan,
I wanted to spend more time in the cafeteria and less time, out running the streets of Garfield Heights after school.
I do want to mention we had the chance to talk with Doug Snyder prior to the game, and he had mentioned before the volleyball team left, football practice wrapped up, and the football players lined up in the hallway as the volleyball team was leaving and gave them a very raucous send-off to that one. They couldn't be down there in person, but they were down there in spirit as they helped cheer them on. Kick fielded right side, Liebhart, 35, Liebhart 40, running from 45, 50. Now Trey's trying to return it the other way. Trey One man to beat. Can he do it? 10 to 10. The 5. Touchdown Toppers. They trade kickoff returns.
Well, you're going to look for your seniors to come up with plays, Matt. Coming back. Flag at the 42-yard line of the Hilltoppers. This is coming back. So, you know, you look for a senior to make a play. And you saw it. Trey was a senior who was going to come up and make a play there. And he gets to the outside, and the only thing you get concerned about was a flag thrown, and a flag was thrown. So Hilltoppers going to end up at about their own 31-32 to start this drive.
Well, penalties have been an issue for the Hilltoppers in this first quarter.
Naturally, that is not a well-received call by the Hilltopper faithful here. I was watching Trey, so I can't comment at all.
Everyone was watching Trey.
So no one was really seeing what the official saw at that moment. So.
Although there was a gaggle of bodies in that area when he was returning it. It's tough to see, at least from our viewpoint. First time the Toppers are starting on their side of the field. And it's going to be Alex Henry running right side. Henry up near the 38.
This sounds crazy because it's the first quarter, but this is a big moment for this Dragon defense. You got the kick return for the touchdown. Hilltoppers get theirs called back. You've got them in their own territory for the first time. It's a time for the Dragon defense to come up, get a stop, keep momentum on their side, and get their offense back out there.
That penalty was a big 7-point swing, or at least 6-point swing. The way Evans kicks, though, you almost are inclined to say 7, if you will. Toppers will run it again. Not much going there.
But enough going on the second effort. They're going to move the chains on that. Good run by the fullback.
Faye, as this season progresses, has really started to embrace the blocking of that fullback position. And when you compare him now to where he was in the first couple weeks of the season, it is night and day.
Much like a lot of this offense. A lot of progress has been made over the course of the year.
Bruce going to be trapped. No, Bruce gets out of it. Looked like he'd be trapped in the backfield. Made a nice move in a very athletic cut to bring it out to the 45, gain of about 3.
He makes a nice move, and Matt, as this first quarter comes to an end, something to think about. 2 3-and-outs by the offense, then a kick return for a touchdown. Basically, for this entire first quarter, the Dragon defense has been on the field, and we talked pregame about the difference in roster size. Way less guys to go to get breathers for your players. And as the first quarter comes to an end, the Dragons defense might already be feeling a little bit tired here.
Toppers up 17-7. We'll come back with second quarter action after this on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Legal procedure.
That size because there's been way too many flags in this game. Realistically, the second week in a row now, it just feels like there are way too many penalties in the first half. And I'll tell you what, way too many penalties against the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, you come out to start the second quarter, and first thing that happens is there comes that flag, and you've got you look at your region, you got some games that would come up in 2 or 3 weeks where if you're constantly going backwards like this, you're really going to be putting yourself in a hard spot when it comes to trying to win a game.
And the thing is, Ryan, I mean, the penalties they've popped up in spurts for them this year. Handoff left side, Fay powering his way forward across the 45 out near the 46. But there have been games where they've played clean, and other instances where they have just, as tonight, penalties left and right.
Yeah, and you'll go through ebbs and flows in every season with things, and penalties is one of them. So you hope that if these are the games where you're committing all these penalties, that means that you're going to be in a better spot by the time you get it out of your system now, type of thing. But something the Hilltoppers are going to need to work to get out of their system here as they move through and into November.
Hilltoppers now going left to right. It's a 3rd and 6 from the 46. Hewitt goes in motion. The handoff left side. Fay going to cross the plane of the first down and be knocked down near the 46. First down, Hilltoppers.
How about this? The fullback dive is working right now, and Fay doing a great job. You're going to fake that sweep. You've got the Dragons thinking, here comes the sweep, and it opens up the middle for Fay. Again, when you can be successful on the outside on those sweep runs, as A.J. Bruce has been tonight, it really opens up the middle of the field.
Well, we saw it last year once they got the jet working late in the season, how it really made life better for Sean Carr running. And right now, Fay taking advantage of that as well. Straight ahead, Fay running through. Dragons up near the 30. And Zach Fay is a beast.
There's absolutely no reason to go away from the fullback dive right now. Not until the Dragons prove they're going to commit to stopping it. And, of course, once they prove that, you're opening things up on the outside again. But unless Fay needs a breather.
Well, and he does.
I would say you're going to go back to him. But, yeah, Fay's been doing yeoman's work on this drive. So, well-deserved breather for Fay right now as he comes off the field.
Alexander Ash checks into the game. I believe he's going to be the fullback in this formation. The give, handoff up the middle, and the carry went to Fetchick. Fetchick gained about 3 yards on that run.
Yeah, we've seen Fetchick, strong runner. We've seen him out of that fullback position a couple times, and he's a real strong runner there, picks up a couple of yards. But you saw a little bit more commitment that time from the Dragons of staying true to the middle of the field.
Henry looking over what he sees from East. Gets under center. It's to Bruce, left side, Bruce. Picks up a few yards on that run.
Well, Ibrahim Kamara just made a touchdown-saving tackle out there because Bruce looked like he had open space in front of him. Kamara was able to kind of reach out and get his ankles and bring him down. It's 4-down territory for the Toppers here, so they'll have 2 chances to pick up these 4 yards.
Will be 3rd and 4 from the 24. Liebhardt is the split end right side. They're going to go back to Bruce on the counter. Stopped. Maybe half a yard gain on that one. Not much going there. They snuffed it out.
Yeah, Kamara came flying through to break that up. Mitchell was able to get in there and get the stop, and pretty much right back where they started by the end of it. 4th down and 4 for the Toppers.
Man, I'd say if you can get Fay back out on the field for a run here. But the Hilltoppers going to bring out Joseph in the kicking game. Timeout has been called by East. Interesting.
Yeah, now it will be interesting to see what the Hilltoppers decide to do. So the Dragons have to burn a timeout there because they are in no way ready for the kick. So now it's a question of, are the Hilltoppers committed to going back out there with the field goal unit, or maybe now do they send the offense back on the field?
Well, this is a what would it be here? It's going to be marked on the 24, 30, so 44-yard field goal in this cool weather.
Yeah, so you want to, this is the thing, right? So you're up 17-7. You get Evans out there and see if you can extend the lead to 27, but just see him so in the back of your head, if you need a 40-plus field goal, can we go to Evans here in November? So it's an opportunity to get him out there to see.
No, you will not see him.
He went out there to pick up the holder. So, yeah, I was wondering if once the Dragons called that timeout, if the Hilltoppers weren't going to change their mind.
Bruce. Let's see who else is out there for the Hilltoppers. I saw WeWereAthletes. And Fetchik. The give is to WeWereAthletes. He makes a couple cuts, picks up the first down.
How about that field vision from WeWereAthletes there? The junior was running up the middle, saw a hole to his left, made the cut, able to get ahead for the first down. A big fourth down run for WeWereAthletes there. And the Hilltoppers keep the drive alive.
Second time today the Hilltoppers have been able to convert on a fourth down. We'll give them the ball 1st and 10 now from the 13. The clock continues to burn up here in the second quarter. And that Dragons defense trying to hang in there. And now, I believe it's going to be against the Hilltoppers, and it is another procedure call.
Yeah, those penalties are mounting right now. Still have a 17-7 lead. You're still driving here with a chance to add on.
Chardon, 7 penalties for 40 yards in this game.
That gives you an idea. Those are all little penalties. Those are all the 5-yard type that are being committed tonight.
Yeah, 6 of them. Henry looking to throw the football and threw it away short of Hewitt. And another flag coming out, holding against the Hilltoppers. Back them up even more. Now they are just about out of field goal range.
Yeah, the Dragons had the rush coming. You had some holding out there to try to keep it alive for Henry to make a throw. And you mark this back. You're well out of field goal range. That flag was at the 20. It's going to back you all the way up to the 30 for the line of scrimmage here. Hilltoppers need about the 3-yard line for a first down, so that sets up a...
just actually the 4 technically. So they need about 26.5 yards. Henry flushing out right side. Going to dump it back. Bruce cannot hang on to it, incomplete. And he had running room.
He had running room, and he was looking to turn and go before he secured the catch.
Focus, Chardon, let's go!
The Hilltoppers becoming unraveled here.
The throw was a little short. Bruce was waiting for it. He wanted to get a jump start, and he just couldn't get himself going.
It's the little things, unfortunately, Ryan, that start to add up in these playoffs.
Meanwhile, this is extending the drive. The Hilltoppers, that stops the clock, but the Hilltoppers have burned the first 5.5 minutes about of this second quarter on this drive, shortening the game on the Dragons.
Henry going to keep it himself left side around the 20, out near the 19.
Henry's never afraid of contact, is he? He put his shoulder right into that hit as he comes barreling ahead.
And that was Kamara who he knocked down.
Kamara's one of their better defenders, and Henry goes right at him. And as long as you make sure you move forward here, you're back in field goal range so you can get points off this drive. And it's a long drive. You've burned half of the second quarter on this drive.
3rd and 16 from the 19. WeWereAthletes goes in motion. It's Henry again, left side. Henry stopped shy of the 15. And out comes Evans for this field goal attempt.
Lineup is about a 38-yarder here, or check that, 33-yarder.
This time along the far side hash marks. Kick is underway. It is up. No good. He sent it just a bit to the left.
Yeah, he just kind of misses that one, so... Again, the Dragons defense comes up and gets a stop again for their offense. Now it's time for the Dragon offense to stay on the field for their defense. Their defense has been on the field for the vast majority of this first half. So, I mean, obviously if the Dragons get a big opening, they'll take it because then they're right back in this game. But stay on the field for a while, give their defense a chance to catch their breath. It's going to be what the Dragons are looking to do here.
Well, in a sense, too, it keeps Zaire Stevens off the field, the Division I recruit. Again, he's number 7. Lined up next to Justin Cox in the backfield. Now he's going to go in motion. They look to pitch to him right side. Incomplete.
Throw was low and behind Stevens there. Hilltoppers looked like they were ready for it. They knew what play was coming. That was going to be well covered anyway. But the throw didn't get there to get things started.
We'll make it now 2nd down and 10. Toppers fans ringing the cowbells here, making some noise. Cox looking for right side, nearly intercepted. Oh, Liebhart. No, check that. That was Maruna.
Yeah, you know that screen pass is coming, and Maruna jumps right out into that route. And in my head, I was sitting here thinking, this is about the time of game where the Hilltopper defense usually comes up with a turnover, and Maruna almost came up with one there.
Well, the way that he went to that ball, it's the way that Liebhart usually goes to the ball.
Well, Maruna's had a good person to learn from this year when it comes to that.
Timeout called again by Easton. It's at this point now where you have to wonder, facing a 3rd down and 10, are they calling this just because they need to give their defense a little bit extra time?
Well, yeah, and they need to talk about it. That almost got intercepted. They need to talk about this play call here. Hey, each week our playoff cable telecast will be underwritten by the Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club supporters. The game will be replayed that weekend and also will be live streamed by the Chardon Athletic Department for a one-time fee of $10. Some or all of the proceeds from streaming revenue will go to the athletic department. You can find the live stream subscription link at www.geaugatv.org.
Third and 10 from the 20. Cox dropping back to Paxton, a flush out right side, and he has his man complete out to the 35-yard line. Catch made by Tristan Thomas.
Yeah, good play by Tristan Thomas there. Make sure he picks up the first down, makes the catch, steps right out of bounds. Doesn't make any mistakes there, just gets his team moving in a positive direction.
Now a good timeout by Marcus Hayes.
He settled his guys down a little bit in that huddle as well.
Dragons now 1st and 10 from their 35. They hand it off. Stevens trying to go right side. Stevens picks up maybe a yard as he went right side of him in a wall of Hilltoppers.
Nice work by the Hilltoppers there to make sure they contain, and picks up a yard, that's it. And we talked about it earlier. That's the key tonight, is to contain Stevens. You're not going to stop him, but contain him to those short runs. Don't let him break off a ton of runs where he gets out into the open field.
Now, Stevens this year has battled some ankle injuries. In the season opener against Massillon Jackson, he went down, sprained ankle early in the game. He ended up missing the next week's game. Week 3 played just, I think it was 5 snaps against Uniontown Lake, but came back real strong in week 4. Man in motion, that's Thomas trying to go around the left side. Thomas stopped near the 38-yard line. And on that stop for the Hilltoppers was Logan Bryant, getting a little bit of time in defense.
Well, Thomas maybe picks up a yard, so the Dragons facing 3rd down and 8. The Hilltoppers are just so good at point of attack.
Third and 7. Cox coming out to the other side. Ball is knocked down. The pressure got him. And it was Fetchick who batted that ball down.
A great play by Fetchick to get in there and bat that pass away. You know, Cox doesn't do too much to move the eyes of a defender where he's throwing. He does a lot of telegraphing, and Hilltoppers are onto it as they bat down 2 passes on this drive.
So 3:20 left to go before halftime. The Dragons forced to punt. And now the Hilltoppers, if they can get something going, can maybe get a 14-point swing potentially, because they will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Good punt. Actually, check that. No, it's not a good punt. High and out of bounds to the right.
Someone got a hand on that ball again. That one goes out of bounds, and yeah, the punt game has not been there for the Dragons tonight. Hilltoppers are in their territory, but they have good field position. Yeah, we kind of forget they didn't score any points, but they used up the first 7 minutes of this 2nd quarter. And Dragons offense got a 1st down, but they weren't out there very long. And here's that East defense right back out there again.
Well, right now you'd like to see the Hilltoppers come away with 7 points here. Take up a little bit more clock. 2 receivers to the right. They're going to get it to Bruce on the swing right side and thrown down. Looked like a horse collar tackle short of the 40.
That's Tristan Thomas. Thomas has made some good plays for the Dragons today on the offensive side of the ball, but here on the defensive side of the ball, that's a couple of unnecessary penalties that he has, they're going to call it. It's a couple of unnecessary penalties that he has taken here on the defensive side of the ball that has really hurt his team.
So personal foul on the horse collar tackle. Move that one up 15 more yards after the end of the run. And the Hilltoppers in striking distance now on the 27 of East. Henry looking to throw, coming back to it. The catch is made out on the 20. It was Liebhart. They will face a 2nd and short.
That's a great play by Liebhart, too. Able to go up there, get that ball, bring it in.
Very athletic move. 2nd and 4. Ball officially placed on the 21. So here comes Henry from the gun. Sends a man in motion. It's Bruce.
That's encroachment.
Was Levance Bratton, the junior, invaded the neutral zone.
Gives the Hilltoppers a 1st down.
Chardon will take it. Been 20 yards of penalties so far on this drive now for East. They're almost, in a sense, returning the favor from all the Chardon penalties in the previous Chardon drive.
Yeah, both these teams have certainly committed their share of penalties so far in the first half tonight, as we've already had 13 penalties called.
95 total yards between the two teams. Bruce has it left side. Bruce up near the 10.
Yeah, you sweep Bruce out to the left there. He gets some room to operate, gets himself inside the 10. Now set up 2nd down and 3.
Let's go! Come on, let's go!
Hilltopper offense is back on the move, and if they can finish this drive off and get in that end zone, Matt, that'll be a sign that they survived that first wave from the Dragons and taking momentum back here.
Clock running, 1:20 and going. They hand the ball off Fetchik. Fetchik on his feet toward the end zone, stopped just short.
But it's a first down, and the chains move. Heath Fetchik. It's kind of a revelation when
and now a little bit of extracurricular going on.
Flags stay.
Well, a couple of guys got tangled up, and officials let them untangle themselves. A couple of...
I was just going to say, man, it was kind of a revelation when Fetchik started getting the football middle of the season on the offensive side of the football, and there you see what he's so good at there.
Now he's in the back, and it's going to be Henry taking it himself, went forward. It's a touchdown!
And Henry just takes the snap and dives in, and the Hilltoppers back firmly in control. And they have a 23-7 lead with a PAT pending.
Now for Alex Henry. His 9th rushing touchdown of the season. Evans looking to tack on one more here. Kick is underway, and it is good. With 51 seconds left to go before halftime, Toppers in control, 24-7.
And that was a scoreboard scraper there, Matt, I do believe. Well, hey, the Chardon High School football players are collecting money to purchase cookie kits to be delivered to the families living at the Cleveland Clinic Children's Hospital. In collaboration with D is Delicious, players will be making the cookies, assembling the boxes, and delivering them downtown to the children and their families in mid-November. This Let's Make Cookies project gives the children and their families a fun activity to do together while in the hospital receiving treatments. Cookies are therapy. That is according to Denise Hagan, owner of D is Delicious. The last day to donate is November 11th, 2022. You can go to the website www.d4dcookies.com. Please join us as we tackle this project together. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
Oh, the last time we saw this East kickoff return unit, they punched it in from 98 yards out, and you have to wonder, will Chardon play it safe and maybe just do a pooch punt here, or excuse me, a pooch kick?
You remember earlier in the game they did take one of those kicks and they just left it on the ground. Yeah, you have the chance at the 2-for-1 here because you get the ball to start the second half. You have a chance to swing yourself to a 31-7 lead.
Let's see what instructions Evan was given. So Joseph Evans approaches the football. It's going to be a bit of a short kick fielded at the 11 near side. And Thomas going to be wrapped up around the 25.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Dragons' game plan here is offensively with 45 seconds left.
I've got a feeling it's going to involve number 7.
Yeah, you're going to get the ball to him. That was what I was thinking, too. You're just going to put the ball in 7's hands, and if he gets a lot of space, great. But you're not going to risk anything that turns the ball over.
No, a 21-point swing or a 3-for-1 would be devastating to East. Rosser, the fullback, and they will give it to Stevens, looking to go left side. Stevens, legs taken out from under him, textbook tackling. You know, it's one of the things that Coach Hewitt spoke about to us prior to the game was you have to make good tackles against Zaire Stevens. You have to wrap them up and take him down, or you got to take his legs out.
The Hilltoppers have been doing that today, and they've done a great job of really keying in on him. He hasn't gotten the opportunity so far yet to get open in space, as the Hilltoppers have done a nice job here in the first half.
Well, clock running. 5 to go here. Will they get this playoff? They do. They're going to give it to Thomas around the end. Got it one block, and then a wall of Hilltoppers brought him down, and that's how we will head into halftime. Folks, it has been a good first half for the Hilltoppers, up 24-7. We invite you to stick around because at halftime, it is that time of the year again. The Hilltopper Marching Band has their very special Halloween show, and you can watch that during halftime, so stay tuned. It's coming up next here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Hilltopper Marching Band is being led onto the field by Field Commander Charlotte Johns. As you can see, tonight we present our traditional Halloween show. Composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber, our first tune is originally from a hit Broadway musical and then a movie. Here is the Phantom of the Opera. easily one of the funniest and most creative films ever made. The hilarious thrill ride never seems to get old or dated. Featuring our majorettes, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Second half action will begin momentarily here from Chardon Memorial. Matt Jaworski and Ryan Radke with you on GTV. And Ryan, it is always a fun show when you see the band doing their traditional Halloween performance. What a tremendous job by the band.
Yeah, and you love what you see from the band. There you see the student section. Their costumes up, too.
Crazy's dressing up tonight. There we go. I like that.
You know, we had a Scooby-Doo group. We had a group that looked like greasers out there from the marching band. We had the Banana Blues Brothers in the marching band out there.
We got some Indians fans out there. There we go.
That's what we like to see.
My kind of fans.
Yeah, dressed as an old school Clevelander, I guess. Is that what that costume is now? But yeah, so the marching band did a great job with the performance, and of course the costumes for the marching band on point as always as well.
Well, and sounding fantastic too.
Yes.
Speaking of fantastic, this Hilltopper defense has been fantastic, but you're not going to get to see them because the Hilltoppers won the coin toss, deferred, and they will not be playing until after the offense.
Well, there we're getting a look at what we're waiting on. We were told that kicker Ibrahim Kamara was coming out, and he was walking around on the sideline.
Yeah, he's supposed to do the kicking duties. Now, he took a good lick from Alex Henry prior to halftime. Henry just, ran him over, lowered the shoulder and knocked him down. And you have to wonder if maybe he's still feeling the effects of that.
So instead it looks like Tristan Thomas is going to handle this one.
So the speedster, who had that 98-yard touchdown return, accounting for East's only points of this game, will kick it off. And Chardon now inching up. Return men standing at the 20 instead of on the goal line. A swing and a miss.
That one might have been a tip in and out of the catcher's glove.
Tip foul.
In and out of the catcher's glove.
No, honestly, I feel bad for the kid.
Yeah, me too.
It's
a tough situation
not
to
a
be put
position
in.
that anybody would want to be in, and honestly, I would have done just the same.
Oh, yeah, there's no way I could kick that ball.
I probably would have fallen down trying to do it. I'm not going to.
Matt would be out there. I'm like, Lucy's not even out there. How'd the football move on you? It's just swing and a miss. But, yeah, it's a tough spot to be in.
The problem, though, for the Dragons is that now gives the Hilltoppers the ball on the Dragon 44. And once again, Chardon starting inside East territory. They've been there a lot of time tonight. Henry going under center. Will hand the ball off Fay. Fay moving straight ahead, picking up about 3 yards on that run. And now some ruckus going on the Hilltoppers. Boy, they're pulling Logan Bryant. Check, that's not Logan Bryant.
Now, there was some borderline ruckus heading into the locker rooms that the officials broke up.
Trudell Graves had to be pulled away. And we have seen some issues with the Dragons players getting some shots at the Hilltoppers. Number of personal fouls tonight on the Dragons.
And this one goes against East.
It's what you see, though, when you're down big and you're frustrated.
Yeah, and it's been from the opening kickoff, the Dragons had the opening kickoff go through their hands, and they started inside the 10. And they did have that one kickoff return for a touchdown, but otherwise it's been a tough night for Akron East.
It is the jet, left side to Bruce. A little bit of running room. Bruce pushed out of bounds near the 10. You know, the level of personal fouls, though, coming nowhere near what we saw with First Baptist in Week 3.
No, that was one of the chippiest games I've ever watched, and it went to overtime, but it was still up there for one of the longest high school football games I've ever been at, too, thanks to all that chippiness going on the field. But that was certainly a fun one. That's one that I'll certainly never forget covering, I'll tell you that.
Toppers a 1st and 10 from the 15. Henry under center. We'll give it to Fay. Fay up the middle, and Fay pounds his way to about the 10. The big man just going forward and taking Dragons with him. Jaden Bell in on the stop.
This is what you like to see. You've used the jet exceptionally well today. You've opened things up between the tackles, and Fay is taking the ball, and he's just pushing ahead through that line. This is that wing T offense operating on all cylinders right now.
2nd and 5 from the 10. Fay coming set to the right of Henry. Man going in motion is Vuyaklea, and flags. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what they decide, and it's going to be encroachment, so
it'll be a 1st down for Chardon. So the Dragons, outside of giving Chardon some excellent field position to begin this drive, have given 20 yards free.
Well, secondly, they're spotting it at second and about a half a yard here for the Hilltoppers.
Second and short. Henry from the gun. Man in motion. Going to keep it himself, and Henry making his way in the end zone. Touchdown, Toppers.
Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
Yeah, he fakes that handoff there. He looks good job on the right side of that line, opening things up for him. Henry runs right through that crease and gets into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Hilltoppers, in a very business-like fashion there, Matt, convert on that 2-for-1 opportunity we were talking about at the end of the half, and have now, pending the PAT, opened up a nice advantage here.
It was big. Bruce now with his 10th rushing touchdown of the season, and Joseph Evans out to attempt another point after. Kick is up, and it slices through the uprights. It is good. 10:25 to go here in the third. Toppers up the score to 31-7.
Well, each week our playoff cable telecast will be underwritten by the Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club supporters. The game will be replayed that weekend and also will be live streamed by the Chardon Athletic Department for a one-time fee of $10. Some or all of the proceeds from streaming revenue will go to the athletic department. You can find the live stream subscription link at www.geaugatv.org.
Was talking with Coach Hewitt prior to the game, and we were talking about the seeds here. 16 teams make it, of course, based on the Harbin computer point system. And Coach Hewitt, one of the things that he said, and it stands out to me because we heard him talk about this last year too against East. He felt that East is not a 16 seed. He felt that they could potentially be maybe even a 5 seed, depending on how how you judge and look at teams.
Yeah, right. That's always an interesting debate.
Topper's going to squib it. It's on the ground. They pick it up. The Hilltoppers have it. And coming up with the football was Joseph Evans. No, check, that wasn't Evans. That was Will Francis.
You remember what we talked about in the first half, Matt? You want to get to the running clock in the second half as soon as possible so you can get your starters a break, because you're going to need them when you get later in November for full games because you're going to get to a point where getting to the running clock isn't going to happen anymore. And so the Hilltoppers going out, they're playing for getting to that point right now where they could get that clock moving and start resting some starters, and the offense is right back out on the field.
Well, the Dragons were not expecting it. And now for Chardon, you essentially go for the kill here on this drive. It's touchdown or bust in a sense.
That's where you're at here.
Henry dropping back to pass, stepping up in the pocket. Henry going to take off rushing right side. Henry has a little bit of running room, and Henry knocked out prior to the 40-yard line.
We saw Coach Hewitt do this a couple weeks ago against South, too. Strategically play to get to that running clock so you can start resting some guys. In the case of the South game, it was going for a 2-point conversion to extend the lead to 30. Here it's let's recover an onside kick and get the 2 touchdowns we need and see if we can't get to that running clock as soon as possible. But there's definitely, I remember, Matt, when it first came in, a lot of coaches didn't love the idea of the running clock, but teams that go deep in the playoffs certainly use it strategically to their advantage, and Coach Hewitt definitely does.
Hands down, Henry going to keep it himself again. Henry up the middle, takes a couple Dragons with him. Boy, he took Luther Darisaw for a bit of a ride.
Just dragging him along, and we talked about, too, how much this Dragon defense
drag on him along? I got that.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were making the pun.
I don't know who made the pun. One of us made the pun. I was going to give you credit for one, but I'll take it. Dragging him along.
1st and 10 from the 34. Toppers will screen it. Hewitt left side. 35-30. Hewitt 20 before he's tackled and thrown out of bounds. Toppers moving the football.
But we talked about that Dragon defense being on the field so much in the first half and how small their roster is compared to Chardon's. Well, here you're starting to see that fatigue set in. This defense is still on the field, and the Hilltoppers now are really starting to run right by them. The Dragons have not had much defensively going to try to stop this Hilltopper attack here in the second half.
Toppers getting to the line. Fade to the right of Henry. In motion was Bruce. Henry bobbled the snap and brought down in the backfield. Multiple Dragons in on that stop, including Chauncey Griffin. Also Keith Kendrick as well. Will be 3rd down and about 2 for the Hilltoppers from the 26. Henry moving Fay over to his left. The give is going to keep it himself, and Alex Henry moves the pile forward for the 1st down, the old goose and go.
And just, you need that 1st down. As you mentioned at the beginning of the drive, you kind of put a lot into this drive when you start it with that onside kick. So give the ball to your senior. Give the ball to the guy who won a state championship a year ago. And Alex will pick up the 1st down. You know Alex will pick up the 1st down. He gets it, and the chains move.
Well, Alex Henry has such a mastery of this offense. Now it's Fetchick to his right. From the gun. He's looking to throw toward the left side. Into the end zone and incomplete. Was looking for Leo Columbi, but was well over his head.
Columbi wanted a flag. It did not come out.
Being a good sport, picking up the football.
Henry's pass intended for Leo Columbi. Sails incomplete.
Well, the way this Hilltopper offense is moving tonight, an incomplete pass on 1st down is no problem at all. You feel easily confident they're going to pick up the 1st down and keep this moving.
The only thing it does is just stop the clock.
Yeah, it's been, the offense has been operating at a high level tonight for the Hilltoppers.
Toppers will come set, and the handoff going left. That is Vuyaclia down near the 10-yard line and forced out of bounds by Darisaw.
Well, how do you like that, Matt? Before the play, you move everyone from the left to the right, and then you hand it off to Vuyaclia going back to the left. And there's plenty enough room for the 1st down to move the chains and keep the drive alive.
Ball on the 11, so they can get a first down if they get to the 2. Check that. Ball on the 12? No, 11.
11.42 yard line, we'll call it.
Henry sends another man in motion, going to keep it himself. Henry makes a cut, spun around, and brought down near the 8.
Henry as the keeper.
Toppers content to pick up a few yards here, a few yards there.
Yeah, run that clock. Griffin and Slaughter get in on the stop, but you pick up 3 yards. It's a good first down gain. Keep the drive moving. East's offense hasn't been on the field yet in the third quarter. 6 minutes are already, 5.5 minutes are gone.
Now they barely saw it in the first and second quarter.
Second quarter, it took over 6 minutes before Akron's offense got on the field the first time. The Hilltoppers playing Hilltopper football tonight.
Going to be Henry cutting and weaving, and Henry in the end zone. Touchdown Toppers, 8 yards out.
Just kept bouncing off of tacklers, making his moves, jumping to the left, and Alex Henry gets into the end zone with the touchdown. He had the big run on third down earlier in the drive to keep it going, and there he finishes off the drive with a touchdown run, and Toppers have gotten to that running clock.
Evans out to attempt the PAT.
Set to attempt the extra point.
Bit of a high snap, no problem though. Kick is underway, and it is good. You're the halfway point here in the third quarter. The Toppers have a commanding 38-7 lead.
Well, high school sports are just part of our programming lineup on GTV. Coverage will continue all year long for Cardinal, NDCL, and Chardon sports. We're in our 27th year now. Check channels 1020 and 1025 and the GTV website, www.geogatv.org, regularly for replay dates and times. Also, don't forget about the community and school bulletin board services provided 24 hours a day on GTV, channels 1020 and 1025. Once again, the website, www.geogatv.org for details. What's the website, Matt?
geogatv.org.
That's right. Place to visit. High definition Chardon Square Cam up and running.
Folks, good time to remind you too, the way that this game is going, it looks like Chardon will be hosting a game here at Chardon Memorial next week. It will be the final home game of the year.
Get the winner of the Gilmore-Geneva game, which last checked looked like Gilmore had a pretty good edge in that one. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, Gilmore 9-1 entering tonight. Geneva checked in 7-3.
Gilmore's ahead 34-21 right now at the last score update.
Line drive kick, dropped then picked up. Thomas cutting and going nowhere at the 15. Flag on the play, and why not? We've had a lot of them tonight. What's one more?
Thomas is a speedster. He's made some big plays tonight, but there again, he wants to make a big play on that kickoff return and can't handle the line drive kick. Plus, with that kick coming on a line drive on this cold night, I'm betting that hit his hands pretty hard.
Well, at least the young man was able to recover it.
On both occasions tonight, they've recovered those dropped kickoffs.
Officials trying to decide what the call is going to be. Personal foul against East. No. The Dragons just shooting themselves in the foot.
We talked about the Hilltoppers stacking up those 5-yard penalties in the first half. Dragons are stacking up the 15-yard penalties tonight. And it's just really hard to win if you're going to do that.
Dragon First offense remains on is coming back out on the field, so that will keep the Topper starters on the field as well. Although you wonder how long they will remain in this game if they can get a stop here. Handoff Stevens, and he's going nowhere. Might have even lost a yard.
Well, they've really done a good job of bottling him up. We talked about it today. Just 3 yards rushing in the first half for the Dragons. And there Stevens loses a yard, so you can make that 2 yards rushing so far tonight for the Dragons.
The Hilltoppers have been very good this year defensively when they have faced Division I running back.
Yeah, it's tough to run against the Hilltoppers, you know. It's tough to go deep against the Hilltoppers. And so it's just not going to be much room for Steven. He's a supremely talented player. But this is a very good defense he's trying to run against tonight, and the Hilltoppers are shutting him down.
Cox looking to throw the ball over the middle and dropped. Darasaw couldn't hang on to it. Might have.
I think Liebhardt got a hand on that.
Cox pass intended for
You know, Liebhardt is a guy who reads quarterbacks' eyes, and talked in the first half a little bit about Cox is a guy who doesn't move his eyes around much. So a guy like Liebhardt going to get in there and break up a lot of passes.
Yeah, he just kind of zones in on somebody, and that's it. As I was preparing for this game, one of the things that I was thinking about was, okay, East has some athletes. If they can just get them the ball in space. And what we saw during warm-ups were very quick passes from Justin Cox, but very few of those tonight have been accurate and caught. Cox from the gun, will drop back the pass, looking to throw, gets it to Williams. Williams, a little bit of running room, trying to get outside. No. Picked up a few, Stevens. I don't know why I keep saying Williams. But Stevens, with the catch, got out near the 10.
Yeah, he had a little bit of operating room, but not a whole lot. And it does look like they're going to bring the punt unit on the field. Kind of have no choice where they're at right now, backed up. But
the question now is who will be doing the punting, and it looks like it is Jahik McIntyre.
Just the whole offense for the Dragons is predicated around Stevens. And if Stevens can't get going, you just can't get that short passing game there. So
McIntyre has it hit his foot. He's being chased. And the Hilltoppers will get 2 points on that. Fuya Clea was there. And I believe I saw Galenik as well.
So how about that? You have another special teams miscue. That the punt game has been a problem for the Dragons tonight. Had a couple of punts that we were pretty sure Hilltopper got a fingertip on that got misdirected. And now you've got a snap that the punter can't handle, and the Hilltoppers pick up the safety.
Now Toppers are doing it in all ways, shapes, and form tonight. 40-7 now is the score.
And the Hilltoppers have now scored more points in this matchup than they did a year ago in the first week of the playoffs. Final on that one was 38-7.
In the district final, they will now play the regional semifinal against Massillon Jackson.
Well, for East, we know that the kicking game is a problem with Kamara out.
Yeah, the second half did not get off to the start they wanted it to when Tristan Thomas had to go out there to attempt the kick instead.
And it's, boy, the big man, Davier Bishop, will try to kick now.
Listed at 6'3", 220.
Bishop set to kick for the Dragons.
Senior linebacker will attempt to kick this one off.
Short kick will be dropped on by Liebhardt. He had to fall down on it. That was a safe play. That ball was like a live grenade down there, just bouncing and bouncing, and Liebhardt wisely just put his body on top of it.
Yeah, sometimes if it's coming from someone who's not a kicker, it becomes harder to defend. It's like trying to hit an EFIS pitch that gets thrown in there. And
it's where those guys need a little bit of lessons from Fetchik on how you block or how you handle a knuckleball.
That's right.
Of course, Fetchik is starting catcher on the state championship baseball team. Not sure if anyone on the team throws a knuckleball, but nonetheless.
I'm sure Fetchik knows how to catch a knuckleball.
Officials asking the Dragon sideline to take a step back. But no official side. Now it comes out. Somebody said something. Going to be a personal foul against the Dragons that came from the sideline.
It's just unfortunate. They warned you first. But motions, I'd imagine, running pretty high on that sideline right now.
So Chad Prince in at QB. Prince will hand the ball off. It was Alexander Ash the carry, and getting chippy again down there.
Ash with a slight loss. Again, with this clock moving, we're already under a minute to go in the third quarter.
Still the starting offensive line, for what it's worth. Give this time his left side, making a cut but slipping up on the grass with Sam Stollard.
Number 42, Sam Stollard, ball carrier.
Now,
picked up a couple.
How huge is it, Ryan? We've talked about this the last couple of years. To get these young kids some actual in-game playoff experience.
That's because, you hope, they're always going to be there, but you hope you get some of the butterflies out of the way in times like this. But, of course, nothing compares to starting in a playoff game, but you hope, they feel like they've been there before when they get there.
Third quarter has come to an end. Toppers up 40-7. We'll be back after this.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Well, we return to Chardon Memorial. Toppers up by 33. Looking to do something with it on the left side. And spinning around was Prince. Was pushed out of bounds near 30, but a late flag comes out.
Looks like it's going to be in the area where this one's going to go against the Hilltoppers. Well, got a score update. Geneva closing the gap, fourth quarter, trailing Gilmore now 34-28 in that one. Hilltoppers get the winner of that game next week.
Third down and 17 for the Toppers from the 43. Man goes in motion. They will hand the ball off. Coming right side on the jet, making a cut up near the 40. And it was Beckett Dotson. So Chardon along, 4th and 14. And Evans going to be asked to do something that he hasn't done all game, punt the football.
Yeah, Hilltopper offense moving efficiently earlier. Now you're going to be punting away, and Evans going to be looking to pin the Dragons back deep. Like they're going to run as much time as they can and call a timeout.
It's indeed what is Coach Hewitt calling the timeout there with 9:59 to go in this one, and his team up 40-7.
Well, hey, the Toppers ahead 40-7. Next week, we will be providing live audio-only coverage of Hilltopper football for the home playoff game on GTV Channel 1025. You can listen to the Toppers in the comfort of your own home with the score on the screen and the golden tones of Matt sitting to my left here. Anyway, so don't miss the action. If you can't make it to the game, be sure to tune into the Toppers on GTV Channel 1025.
Certainly hope you can come out here and help make this place loud and raucous.
Well, a good crowd tonight. Had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, but they're already starting to...
It's a bit chilly tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
not everybody came here dressed in the Carhartts and bringing the blankets. I'll put it that way.
I know it's a week away, so forecasts can change, but they're talking about highs in the low 70s next Friday, so it should be a beautiful night next Friday night for some high school football.
I would love to come here wearing the shorts and a polo shirt, but I highly doubt high in the 70s at night.
No, it'll be cooler than that once the sun goes out. That's the thing about fall is it quickly cools off.
Oh, you mean the temperature falls?
Yes, that's good. That's correct. That's what fall stands for.
Evans's kick will be fielded. I'm not sure why by Thomas. And he's going to try to return it left side out of bounds just past the 10. He should have let that one go into the end zone.
Yeah, he needed to get to the 20 to make that make sense. But again, you never fault the kid for trying to make a play. He's out there trying to make a play. His team is down.
No, and you can make an argument that because the offense has just sputtered in this game, and again, they've picked up less than 50 yards at this point in time, and now with the second stringers in, maybe that will change here, but it was very rough going for Justin Cox and for Zaire Stevens.
Well, Joseph Evans has done a great job today, and that goes as another punt, pinning an opponent inside the 10.
All right, at the 10, so 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Cox dropping back the pass, going to throw it over the middle, and it is a one-handed catch made, and all alone heading to the end zone is Thomas, and he's in there for the touchdown.
90-yard touchdown throw. As they're able to find Thomas, he makes a great catch. He made a defender miss. Defender fell down. He makes a one-handed grab, and he is gone to the house. And for the Dragons, that means the clock now stops, Matt, as they are now trailing this one by 27.
Well, that has now put the Dragons over the 100-yard mark in this game. But the Hilltoppers, if they score, can change things again. And you have to, though, think that we still likely have seen the last of the Hilltoppers starters here unless something crazy happens. They're going for two toward the right side of the end zone, and it is caught. That time, the reception made by Luther Darasoff for the two-point conversion.
And again, we just don't know the state right now of the Dragons' kicking game. So they go for two, they convert, and it's 40-15. Well, the Chardon High School football players are collecting money to purchase cookie kits to be delivered to the families living at the Cleveland Clinic Children's Hospital. In collaboration with D is Delicious, our players will be making the cookies, assembling the boxes, and delivering them downtown to the children and their families in mid-November. This Let's Make Cookies project gives the children and their families a fun activity to do together while in the hospital receiving treatments. Cookies are therapy, according to Denise Hagen, owner of D is Delicious. The last day to donate is November 11th. You go to the website, www.d4dcookies.com, to find out how you can tackle this project together. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
Well, certainly a very worthy cause. I'm going to ask, your favorite type of cookie?
Ooh. It's going to, you can't beat a good old chocolate chip, but I love a good peanut butter cookie. I'm going to have to go with peanut butter cookie. Of course, at Christmas time, the peanut butter cookies with the Hershey's Kiss in the middle, those are, I forget what those are called, but those are the good ones.
Foster looked at me and he said, Monster, as in Cookie Monster.
Ah.
It's Hewitt trying to return it. Hewitt pushed out of bounds near midfield. So 1st and 10 Toppers, as we have 9:12 to go here in this one.
That was a nice return there by Caleb Hewitt.
Chad Prince remains in the game at QB, as does that second team offense. Prince has put up some points this year with this squad, of course, in limited time. That tough schedule essentially kept him and his fellow teammates on the bench for the first half of the season, but they got some action against Madison, action against South, and action against North.
They're in there again, and the first play from scrimmage here on this drive goes for a loss. How about that update we just heard, Matt? With 3 minutes to go in the game, the Eagles have come all the way back and taken the lead over Gilmore, 35-34.
That one might be the last team to have the ball wins. Prince under center, sends a man in motion. They will try to go around the left side, and picking up a few yards there around the right corner was Stollard.
A nice job by Stollard there. He gets some blocking in front of him, able to get around to the outside and set up 3rd down and 5 here.
Now this game, a bit anticlimactic at this point, but the Hilltoppers starters came in and they did what they had to do.
Yeah, they came out and they took advantage. The Dragons made a lot of mistakes early. The Hilltoppers took advantage of it. Their first 3 drives all started in Dragon territory. The Hilltoppers scored 17 points on those 3 drives, and they had the Dragons facing a long uphill battle. So far, the Dragons have a kick return touchdown and 1 touchdown here late in this game.
I believe the officials are going to ask for an adjustment on the clock. Indeed, they want
They wanted 8:25 up.
Yep.
We were at 7:46. They wanted 8:25.
Bit of a difference.
We weren't in a running situation, and that got out of bounds, so the clock needed to stop.
Stollard going in motion, gets the call again, and Stollard makes his way up near the 42, and some more chippery by the Dragons.
See if the Hilltoppers want to send the punt unit out here or not. Again, they're going to use as much of this time as they can. So we're probably going to get another timeout here.
Now, indeed, Coach Hewitt coming over to the official near side and is just waiting for the clock to run. Makes for exciting TV.
This is so you see Coach Hewitt ready to call that timeout.
And he does.
There it is.
Well, with 7:19 to play, we're going to take a timeout just like the Hilltoppers did here on GTV. Chardon will keep the offense out on the field here on 4th down and 4. Welcome back, everyone. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. Check that. I did not see Evans get on the field, but he did. Strong punt. Thomas will watch it go out of bounds near the coffin corner.
Where are they going to spot another great punt by
at the
Evans?
3. Well, there was a reason why he was the News Herald Player of the Week last week, and living up to it now, certainly.
Yeah, and he's done such a good job in the kicking game this year. And he does it all. He kicks, he punts. Actually spot that ball a little inside the 2.
First and 10 from around the 2. Running the football right side, and not much going there for the QB Cox. Kept it himself.
Had the keeper there, just wanted to get out of the shadow of their own end zone. Able to get 3 yards out to the 5. A little bit more room to operate.
Dragons just taking their time. Cox telling something to Stevens. Dropping back the pass, feeling pressure, going to put it up down the sideline and overthrows everybody. Was looking for Darisaw. Too much on it.
Yeah, ball one sailing out of bounds on the right side.
Will be 3rd and long for the Dragons. Well, give the Hilltoppers credit. They came out and they punched the Dragons in the mouth early, going up 17-0 late in the first quarter until a 98-yard kickoff return by Tristan Thomas put the Dragons on the board, but then the Hilltoppers answered back with 23 consecutive points up until that touchdown. Cox looking to throw left side and now flags.
They got a legal procedure against the Dragons.
So they'll make it 3rd and about 8.
think the Dragons thought there might have been encroachment there. Legal procedure is the call.
So 3rd and 9. Cox under pressure. They got him in the end zone for another safety. The defense gets 2 points.
It was the special teams who got the other safety, so the defense had to get out there and show them how it was done. And the defense goes out there and gets a safety.
Folks, just keep this in mind. These are the young pups out there against that varsity of the Dragons.
It's so hard to operate when you're backed in your own end zone, and the Hilltoppers brought all the pressure forward and just buried Cox back there. There was nowhere for him to go.
.42-15 is now the score. And speaking of score, we do have a final, by the way. This one is confirmed. Canfield, the number 2 seed, moves on. They are winners over New Philly, 27-10.
How about the Eagles scoring again? Geneva up 42-34. Gilmore had a nice lead at home in that one, and they have watched it slip away in the second half. So it's starting to look more and more like it's going to be Geneva heading up here next Friday night. We'll wait and see what Gilmore has left in them, as that game is coming quickly to a close.
Of course, the last time the Hilltoppers played Geneva was in the playoffs and that magical run in 2020. Bruce going to pick it up and take a quick knee.
If I remember correctly, that 2020 game, we showed up and were playing. There was a miserable thunderstorm, and we had to come back on Saturday afternoon. If I'm remembering correctly, that was the Geneva game. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Chip was still the coach at that time in Geneva. Of course, it's Don Shimsky now.
Well, let's not do that this year. Let's not have a big thunderstorm next week.
You're saying you've got plans. Prince still in at QB. 6 minutes to go on this one. Toppers up 42-15. And Prince will keep it himself as he goes right side, picks up about 3.
Nice run there by Prince.
Prince, a sophomore, 6 foot 160. And you have to wonder, maybe he will be the heir to Alex Henry next year. But you never know. A lot of things will happen. A lot of football left to be played this season before you really get in the heart of next season. Of course, the Toppers hope it's 6 more wins counting today. Prince crosses midfield out to the 49. We'll bring up 3rd down and medium.
Another solid run by Prince there, is just picking up about 3 yards at a time.
3rd down, 4.
Picking up 3 yards and taking time off the clock. We are nearing that 4:30 mark in this one.
That's what you're looking to do at this point. Just run out the rest of this game.
Prince letting that play clock run down.
Maybe a little too much.
No,
encroachment. How about that? You're running that play clock down, you got the defense getting a little antsy.
They just wanted Chardon to snap the ball.
You have to give defenses credit. I'm surprised you don't see that more often in these situations.
Well, the problem for the Dragons is that just gave the Hilltoppers another first down. Clock will start back up again, and there's now under 4 to go in this one. Toppers just again letting time burn off the clock. Prince will keep it himself, stopped in the backfield. That time it was Debo Mitchell with the stop.
Mitchell does a nice job to get back there, but right now not even having Prince hand off the football. It's just Chad Prince running.
Now they're content to not turn the football over. Just get it in your QB's hands and just let him hang on to it. Now, if it is Geneva that the Hilltoppers will play next week, the only common opponent they had was Madison. And Geneva lost that one 13-7.
I believe that was week 1.
Indeed it was. Toppers will run the ball, and this time it's Vinny Columbi with the carry straight ahead. Just for the record, it was Chardon 55, Madison nothing in week 8.
Yeah, not sure what you could make of a score from a week 1 game. I'm imagining the Eagles are a much different team right now than they were when they dropped that one to Madison earlier this year.
Indeed they are, and you look at Geneva's schedule, probably their marquee win of the year was against Lakeside, a 2013 victory in week 4.
Lakeside, a playoff team. They had a tough matchup against Coach Boers in Riverside tonight.
Riverside has bounced them tonight. Prince stopped in the backfield. Little gain on that one. Now the Dragons will call a timeout with 1:40 to go.
Want to get that ball back.
After this one, invite you to stick around. We will hear the words from the coaching staff as they address the team post-game. And of course, yours truly, Mr. Radke, will wrap it up as well. But you look at this one, Ryan, and again, the offense came out, put some points on the board. Defense just fantastic tonight.
Yeah, the defense was stellar. They were forcing 3-and-outs early in the game. The only touchdown they gave up was in the 4th quarter here. The other touchdown was scored on a return.
Coach Landis has to be proud of his team.
I mean, they shut down one of the top running backs in Division III tonight. Run game went nowhere for the Dragons.
Evans to punt. Again toward that corner. It will sneak into the end zone.
Oh, we got a roughing call. So it's a first down for the Toppers, and that's how the game is going to come to an end.
Now the Hilltoppers, I think we can say this now based on the time situation, will be advancing to round number 2 next week here at Chardon Memorial. And we certainly, again, invite you to join us live and in person. If you can't make it, again, check out the athletic department website. $10 and you can watch the game there. The money going to help offset the costs. As we've seen this year, record turnout for football players. And folks, equipment is not cheap.
And of course, I do believe we will also have our audio-only coverage on Friday night next week here on GTV.
10:25, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, jogatv.org. Toppers in victory formation. Prince will take a knee.
So there's 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and Gilmore has tied the game at 42.
Wow.
That is going to be the last team with the ball wins.
Well, you look at no common opponents in a sense. I mean, they played brush. 47-21 winners Gilmore was, Tommy Zagorski's team. But, you know, we'll find out when we arrive here next week who it is.
So you'll worry about next week. Next week it's celebration night for the Hilltoppers as they will win this one.
Well, celebration, yes, but in a sense, Ryan, this is what this community has come to expect. It's business now. It's business time. You focus, you come, you dominate, you win, you move on.
And the Hilltoppers were very business-like tonight. They came out, they got those points early. They used a lot of clock tonight. They really took the game away from the Dragons. They were playing Chardon football at its finest, and they come away tonight with a big win, and as you said, in business-like fashion here tonight.
Toppers winners tonight, 42-15. We'll take a timeout and come back with this, or come back with more after this on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
What a game tonight by the Hilltoppers. Winners again, 42-15. Before we give our final thoughts, we're going to send it down to the field and hear from the coaches as they address the players.
Hey, listen, you ran hard to the ball, you blocked to the whistle. The next step is doing it better next week. Do you understand? Sir. Great week of practice. Let's go.
I don't know that I saw that one coming, man. I thought they were better on film. I was nervous going into this game. To walk out of here with a score of 42-15, and it really wasn't even that close in some respects, right? We get another home game, right? There's no stopping us if we put things together and execute at a high level. We can win a back-to-back state title. Most teams after a Week 11 win aren't talking that way, but I'll be dead honest. We need more productivity out of people. Well, our kicking game has to. We need more productivity. It can't be we got 80 guys on the roster and we're using 25. Well, this week, my goal is to look for people that want to be on the kickoff, that want to be on kick return, that want to be on punt, that want to contribute in a meaningful snap. Because the bodies and talent are here. And guys, this is a conversation you have with a team that you believe in, that you're going to coach her. You know what I mean? You can't say this to most. We just want to play off game 42-15. And what do we want to do? We want to get better. We want to get better. Because I know, and these guys know, what it takes to win the whole thing. But we're going to beat the piss out of someone here next week. And the way that we do that is Monday through Thursday. Now, it's got to be said. Weekends become distractions, right? Because tonight was a costly game. We got Coop ding, right? Daniels ding, right? Where you at, Kiss? What an impressive performance right here. He's like the healthiest of all of them. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get better, we're going to get healthy, we're going to get better, but I'm excited to host someone here again.
Yes, sir.
Because for you seniors, it will be your last home game. Coop, I hope you can run out of the tunnel. We'll do everything we can to make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Alex Kissler, I thought many that thought your season was over. Break it down.
Kill someone on 3. 1, 2, 3. Kill someone.
Well, Ryan, it was a very good night for the Hilltoppers. Granted, they did have some penalties, some things that they're going to have to work on and correct this upcoming week in practice.
Yeah, get those out of your system this week. But overall, you want to focus on what was great tonight, and all facets of the game were good tonight for the Hilltoppers. The offense was really clicking like a well-oiled machine. Of course, that defense was there again tonight, and got some big plays on special teams, including that safety. So a lot of good for the Hilltoppers tonight to build on as they get ready for next week. 3 touchdowns by Henry, 2 by Bruce, and the defense just poured it on. Zaire Stevens was held in check tonight, the best running back in Division III, and the Hilltoppers will move on to round number 2 again next week here at Chardon Memorial. Well, that does it for us here on GTV. Thanks going out to all of our camera guys tonight. We had Spencer, we had Lee, our director Brian Foster, executive producer Dave Jevnikar, and my partner Ryan Radke. I'm Matt Jaworski. On behalf of all the rest, we wish you all the best. Toppers advance to round number 2 or week 12. 42-15 winners. We'll see you next week.